Hello, YouTube. So, I just finished watching the fifth episode of Black Lightning Season 1 entitled, Wait, let me read this. And then the devil brought the plague, the Book of Green Light. So, in this episode, we see that, Jefferson is starting to get some headaches and exhibit some odd behaviors like anger. And we don't know if this is tied directly to his powers or his suit, or if maybe it's something like having to do with like the green light or something like that. But Jefferson really isn't feeling himself. Um, at the same time, we learn a lot more about Tobias. We learn from his sister that they had an abusive father, and obviously that probably had an effect on how Tobias, how he grew up and who he ended up becoming. We see that his father was abusive to him and his sister, slapped his sister, and was abusive to him because he was albino. So, throughout this episode with Tobias, they keep bringing up the fact that he is albino. His dad even says, "Oh, you're not black or white. What are you?" So I feel like they're really trying to kind of hunker down on like what it means to be like an albino black person. We even got that flashback of Lady Eve talking where she talked about in certain places in Africa they would kidnap albinos and murder them and grind their bones in the dust because they thought it was good luck. They thought they're magical. So that was interesting. And then at the end of the episode, he breaks his father. He and his sister, they go to where his dad lives because his dad's still alive, and he breaks his father's back. Sorry. So he breaks his father's back, and to me, I guess that symbolized like him like getting over his father's abuse and like becoming more of a leader. Because I guess up to this point, he hadn't really gotten over his daddy issues because it's comics. Pretty much everyone has daddy issues or dead parents. So that really didn't shock me. I'm curious to see if his personality or anything's going to change since he killed his father. I'm honestly surprised the way he was that he didn't kill his father already. Since, Tobias has no qualms about killing people, ordering people to kill people. So that was interesting. We also see Jennifer getting a fight at a roller rink and break a girl's hand, which was pretty funny. The girl and her mom end up coming to Jefferson's house, confronting them, but Jefferson and Lynn, being the charming people that they are, end up getting them the back off. So I kind of got from that scene that Jefferson and Lynn they're very charming people, and they're capable of doing a lot when they work together. I think that's kind of the idea. They're a divorced couple, but you can see how they work together. They pretty much talk down that mom and her kid from pressing any charges or anything. And honestly, later on, when Jefferson's talking to his daughter Jennifer about, well, this is why we don't use violence, you have to, use restraint and whatnot. It's supposed to be funny because we know that he's Black Lightning and he's getting in the fights at night all the time. So it'll be interesting to see how she reacts to her dad being a superhero. She's going to think he's a hypocrite, etc., etc. So that happened. And of course, Anissa is still on her hero's journey. In this episode, she realizes that she wants a new costume. I won't talk about it. There's a pretty funny scene. One of her outfits like rips, and she has a comment that I think a lot of especially women will kind of relate to. So she ends up going to a store and just coming up with a makeshift suit herself, and it's pretty goofy. I mean it's spandex and like a Beyonce wig, so that's not going to be her final costume because screens of her real final costume have already come out. But that's her starter costume. Kind of reminds me of like early Spider-Man, where before he gets like his like classic Spider-Man suit, he has like this old one which is like a hoodie and like some goggles. So kind of gave me that feel. So she's still kind of doing her thing, and she's investigating stuff independent from her father because she doesn't know her father's Black Lightning. We also see that Tobias also confronts Gambi during the scene, I mean, during the show, and we see that they've had some sort of relationship before. Hopefully that gets elaborated a little more because it's clear now that Gambi is trying to keep Black Lightning away from Tobias for some reason. So I want to learn more about their relationship, because Gambi seems like a good dude, but he's doing some sketchy stuff, so we don't really know quite what's going on yet. But overall, I think the episode would be 8 out of 10. I enjoyed the episode. Lots of character development. We got some for Jennifer. We got some for Anissa. We didn't really get a resolution to Black Lightning's like headaches and things of that nature. In the final fight of the episode, he's trying to confront someone who's working under Tobias, and he ends up getting his butt kicked pretty bad. So pretty much a lot of the problems that were displayed last episode and this episode still don't get resolved. Jennifer and Anissa are still kind of like going on their journeys, and Black Lightning really hasn't found any good solutions to a lot of his problems yet. But it's still it gave us some interesting reviews. I mean interesting reveals. I like learning more about Tobias in his past. I'm excited to see how his relationship with Gambi is explored. Um, yeah, that's pretty much all I really have to say. Sorry, we didn't get anything crazy, but I had a good time. Yeah, everyone's on their hero's journeys. We're still learning more about this world. Also forgot, Anissa is also trying to investigate more about superpowers, and we learn that her grandfather, Jepson's father, was some sort of scientist, and he was involved in kids' experiments in Freeland. But we didn't get that many details just yet. I might have to rewatch the episode to see if there was anything important in those newspaper clippings. But we're still trying to figure out, you know, why people in the Black Lightning world have powers, where they come from. I'm assuming, the grandfather is at least semi-responsible for Jefferson getting powers, and obviously it's how his kids get powers. But she's trying to get information. She goes to a journalist who is played by a guy who's on Everybody Hates Chris, which is something that funny that I noticed. But yeah, this episode, a lot of setup. The best part, in my opinion, was learning more about Tobias. But I'm curious to see how the rest of these developments will go on throughout the rest of the season. So yeah, let me know what you thought. Are you enjoying Black Lightning? We're 5 episodes in now. So now, like, this is the show. First, when you watch a pilot and a second episode, they're obviously like trying to get people's attention. But this episode, like episode 5, this is the show. So if you don't like this, you may have a problem, right? So I'm curious to hear everyone's opinion. Do you like Black Lightning so far? What are your thoughts about some of the mysteries? Will you continue watching? Let me know in the comments below. And until then, I will catch you all later. Peace.